to the Fight Week show. We'll see you guys on the road soon.
What's happening, people? This is Ola on the Fight Week show, and I got my co-host here for a recap today. It's Front Kick Andy.
Hey, how's it going? I really appreciate being here. It's a great day. We got nothing but good news, good fights, and more to come.
Yeah, more to come, man, bro. It's been a crazy ass weekend, man. This weekend has been fucking insane. With UFC 276, we've just gone through UFC 276, and what a card, right? I always say, and I say this a lot. A lot of people that that follow the show would know that I always say fight nights over pay-per-view, and I have my reason. Fight nights because everybody's trying to get on the pay-per-view. So they throw caution to the wind. They're looking for finishes. But once you're on the pay-per-view card, you want to be as intelligent and fight as intelligent as you can.
Yes.
You can try and secure the outcome that you need to move on to the next thing. So it's kind of like but for consumers like us, we're just fight fans, right?
Yep.
At least now we're fight fans, and you look at it and you know that these guys that's on pay-per-views.
Yeah.
They're a little bit more careful, a little bit more cagey in their approach. What did you make of the card as a whole before we start breaking it down?
Okay, so the card as a whole, there was a couple disappointing moments, for sure. And I get what you mean by the fight night difference. Like Real just said, fight nights are almost always better from your Real, and that's true for that reason, that they go hard and they put on that show. So some of my favorite cards are on fight nights. This card here, I think it was exceptionally great, but the main card did have a few moments that were let down, such as the Sugar Sean fight that ended unfortunately in a no contest, and then we had another Isreal Adesanya decision, and I've seen people criticizing him for that one. Yeah. Maybe playing it a little too safe and not being willing to, pull the trigger and get into the fire like before.
Yeah. Look, I saw that as well. Can you tell us if the audio is coming up good across the side from you, not you, Andy, but to the listening viewers? So if the audio is coming up perfect, please let us know. And big up everybody that's watching us right now, everybody that's watching us live, all of you that's going to watch us on playback. We salute you. We do this for you. You're the only reason. I just killed a 12-hour shift at work, and I'm straight here loading up, getting my man on the show, and we're talking about the fight that we saw on Saturday/Sunday morning. You know what I mean? So salute to everybody that puts in their time to watch us. Please,
absolutely.
Please, like, share, subscribe, do all of that good stuff. You're the reasons why we come here week in, week out. Now,
yes,
the Easy fight, Easy Jared Cannonier. Right? I had Easy down to win. I'm sure you did as well. It was crazy that, especially from Cannonier's side, and I get what people are saying about Easy, and I don't want to come across as biased because I got easy stuff on the background there.
I'm a little biased too. That's okay.
I want to be as objective as possible. And thank you very much, You're Real. Big up to you. Yeah, man. I'm going to do something about my face, like hide it. Anyways, look, check this out. Yeah, I don't want to come across as I'm being biased about on Easy. So I'm going to go to you first, like you said, in terms of what did Easy do wrong for him to get criticized, and what did Cannonier do wrong? Because both of them got criticized in this fight. And correct. I think rightly so for what we got, because you guys, you pay what, damn near $70 for
I paid for this one. It was $75.
And you were still behind us here in England.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, we were.
For people that don't know, for people that's wondering what we're talking about, we did a watch along together on the stream. So if you haven't seen it, please go and see it. And we've had some good viewings on that watch along. So thank you to everybody that's been to see it.
We really appreciate it.
Thank you for all the support that you guys have done, and go and check it out. So if you haven't seen it, please go and watch it. It's right there on the page. But yeah, we was watching live, and you was kind of like, what, 20 seconds, something like that behind us. and you guys are paying top dollars to watch it. The only problem for us is we have to watch on godly hours.
Yeah.
That's the price we pay, you know. But I'm sure if they offered you that, you don't even sleep anyway. You're like a vampire. You know what I mean?
I'd rather work on this show, brother.
Yeah, but you don't even sleep at all. But I salute it, but I don't know how you do it. You know what I mean? But look, this weekend, easy, Jared Cannonier, plenty of criticism from both sides, and I think, you know, rightfully so, because of like I said, the amount of money that you pay to watch it, and they just didn't give it to you.
Yeah, right. I think that's the problem, is that we're left as fans because we know how good Isreal Adesanya is. I think anybody saying that Isreal Adesanya showed he's not a good fighter is a hater right now. If they say that, for those people saying that about this card, because then you have to ask, how good is Izzy that he could take it safe and always win? Because he's able to stay out of danger. He's able to get that paycheck as champion without taking the brain damage and shots to the head. So I respect that he takes that safe approach. But as a fan, it's hard to know how good he is and not want to see him start engaging more and really giving us those wars that as fans are the best to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. And I couldn't agree more, because we all know how good this guy is. He makes he's the one that makes fighters or different set of fights look easy. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But then the way people are starting to prepare for him, especially after he came back from the Yan fight. When he came back from 205 and he lost that fight to Yan, the way people approach fights with him was a little bit different. People started thinking,
absolutely.
Maybe I can do what Yan did to him. Maybe I can do this, and a lot of people have said it. You know, there's tons, there's loads of tapes on Easy now where you can go and study him. It's not like a new phenomenon. You know, he's been defending this title for 3 years. 3 years he's been defending this title, and everybody kind of know what he's gonna bring. They know he likes to control space and range.
Correct.
And his timing is fantastic. They know all of these things, and they approach the fight that way. But the people that got so much power in people like Yo Romero, Paulo Costa, and Jared Cannonier, they've all lost to Easy. One, because they couldn't pull the trigger to their power, or two, they went for it too much and got caught. One of the two is going to happen to you, and that's why these guys are so scared.
That's the big test, right? Is people can't just put it all on Isreal Adesanya to say, hey, you're not going for the kill, because in my opinion, that should kind of be on the challenger. You're the one that's not the proven champion. Isreal has established himself as being dominant and a great champion. So the real question is, was Jared Cannonier maybe a little too gun shy, or was it just that hard to touch Izzy, that he's just so good that he wasn't able to make any of those connections? Either way, it is on both fighters. And what I will say about it is it's a better fight than I think people give it credit for being.
Yeah.
It was absolutely technically masterful. And that's what we can always say about Izzy, is that in order to avoid a guy like Jared Cannonier and to not get hit by any power shots, to not have like a single round that you're like, oh, wow, Jared, he fucked old boy up there.
Yeah.
None of that happened. So Isreal, to me, still looks just as untouchable, just maybe leaving a little bit to be desired now.
Yeah. I mean, people are trying to compare him to, I see a lot of people talking about how he looks like Usman from before Usman started knocking people out. Just playing points decision. And for me, this is the fight game. And people have to understand what this fight has put on the line to get the finished products that we see on telly. Because I think that goes over a lot of people's heads, that fighters just turn up in the cage and just do. There's so much sacrifices, so much brutal weight cut, so much brutal sparring. Some of them got knocked out in sparring. Just because we don't know about it Some of these guys are carrying injuries into the fight that we don't know nothing about. Only their cornermen and their team really knows about it. So we don't know why they fight the way they fight. We could look at Jared Cannonier, Killer Gorilla, and say, oh, he didn't go for it. But we don't know if he's carrying, a fracture in his hand. We don't know that.
We don't have any of the information that could lead to.
All we could go on is what we see. But I'm always mindful of over criticizing fights because of these little things, because I always have that in the back of my mind. Because I just look at it and I think these guys are human beings. They go through some brutal stuff to get here, and then even if their fight is not that great to look at, I still kind of show respect because of what they did to get into the
And I would even argue that's the whole point of the Fight Week show is we love fighters and we love the fight game. So I'd just probably ask fans to remember, like you said, we don't have all the information, but we know that these guys are doing something that you and I could never get out there and do, never at that level. And
no way.
And they're willing to put it all on the line, and they break themselves before the fight. That's for sure.
100%. 100%. I agree with you. Now let's shift gears and get to the one that's really dear to your heart. Alex Volkanovski, Alexander the Great versus Max Blessed Holloway. This was a fight that's had two. We've had two fights that we've seen already. 10 rounds from these two guys.
10 rounds.
10 rounds. And at that point, there was who you going with, because it wasn't that clear. And even
very close.
Even Volkanovski kind of agreed to, and that's why he agreed to do the third one, because even to him, if it's not clear enough for him to accept the third fight, we can safely say that. So going into this fight, I said to you, gun to my head, and this is how much I love Max. Is why I had to use the phrase "gun to my head," because if I could have sat on the fence about it, I really would have, like my wife did. But,
I can't sit on the fence for fights like these. They get me so excited, and I know Max Holloway is my favorite fighter, so there's a lot of bias there. But I'm a pretty good person to be objective, and I was overconfident for Max Holloway. I really felt like we had seen, I mean, some of the best performances of all time in his last two fights. But I never slept on Alexander Volkanovski. I make jokes because I like Max so much, but I always knew that guy, whether if he's not better than Max before this fight, now we could say he's the guy. But before, you could still say maybe Max is better, but you can't say that Volk isn't right here with Max. So now after this fight, even a ride or die fan such as myself has to admit that he did to Max Holloway what Max Holloway usually does to other people, and that was probably the most crazy thing about it.
I couldn't believe how dominant he was in that fight. I mean,
he hit Max very hard. Quite a few times I saw Max react more than he typically would to some of those shots, and I would say the biggest difference in this fight, like why we didn't see Max be as close, is Alexander Volkanovski was fast as hell, bro. His hands were lightning fast, and he was in the zone. He was missing punches. He kept his hands low. He was talking to Max like Max talks to people.
Yeah.
I mean, Alex really made a statement, and that's, I'm the champion. I'm the greatest. I'm the guy in this division, and he really is.
And the correction from Leroy right there, you're real. You could see it right there on the screen. It says correction, Alexander the greatest Volkanovski, and he is the greatest, because when you just look at the amount of opponents that he's been through in this division at the top level in the UFC, is ridiculous. It's be everybody. As we were talking about this in the chat, and to me, Alex Volkanovski is the guy that beats up your favorite fighters. Like he's done
Yes.
it to me. I've been through it. You know what I mean? I'm still suffering through it. He did unspeakable things to Brian Ortega, bro. Like,
I feel that. I'm a big Brian Ortega fan, and going into that,
I'm a
ooh.
crazy Ortega stan. Like you have no idea how much I love this brother, right? And the things Alex Volkanovski did to this guy, I thought to myself, like, who gets out of T City? I ain't seen nobody do that. But Volkanovski, even with that big chain that
I know.
Volkanovski's got, he had that thing tucked underneath his chin, and somehow Volkanovski did not only get out of it, he beat the brakes off of him.
He beat him. He beat him like he stole something from his mama. That's what happened. That looked personal. It wasn't personal, but Alexander, he beat him like it was personal. Yeah. And now he got a finish on the zombie. And then right after that, he made it very clear that he's the guy over Max Holloway. So that's correct, Uriel. Alexander, the greatest, Volkanovski for sure.
100%. And look, commiserations to Max. We know how good Max is. Max is an elite fighter. You know, he's one of the greatest to ever do it at 145. Period. You have three names in that division. It's Jose Aldo. We spoke about that on Saturday on the watch along. We're talking about Alex Volkanovski, and then it's Max. Those are when we're talking about people that really, really put that division on the map. You got to look at those three names right now and just look at what they've done for that division. And for me, it's Alex's time. Max has had his time. Max had his time. It's Alex's time right now, and it's gonna be there for a minute. Now I don't see nobody really getting him out of there.
Which is exactly why I feel like going up to 155 is the exact right move for Alexander Volkanovski.
Yeah, it's going to give him a nice fresh coat of paint. It's going to give him a new look. There's different fighters there, and Max is a big guy, and you know he can still make some 55ers look small. You know, size,
and Max cuts down a lot of weight from I think someone reported once it was like 190 pounds that Max Holloway typically walks around at. And that's not very far away from where Dustin walks around at. So Max is a big guy. He cuts a lot of weight. Maybe at 155, if he takes that time to build up his frame and it's not that like last minute fight that he took before, I really feel like there's a lot of fun fights to be had there.
Yeah, I agree with you. There's plenty of fights to be had in in the 155 division. There's good contenders there for him. And you know, I feel like if Max goes up to 155, they'll give him a top 5 fighter straight away.
Yeah,
I truly believe so. You'll get a top 5 fighter,
and that's fair enough.
You know, and I think he's deserved it for what he's done in the division he's coming from. Look, you just had a title fight and lost, so his stock to me hasn't gone down. You know, he's still the 99 land guy, the Blessed Express, and we love Max around here. I'm a big fan of his, and I want to see him win. I want to see him do well, and hopefully, you know, we see what he does next with his career. He does need, you know, a much needed break. That cut above his eye, bro.
That was scary.
If that was in New York, I guarantee you they stopped that. He's going to be doctor stoppage.
He was very close to losing that fight via doctor stoppage because that cut, I mean, that has to be close to his skull that you could see into.
It was bad. It was really bad. And these are the things that Volkanovski can do to you. You know what I mean?
He's a dangerous man. He's a scary guy.
Oh my God, he's dangerous. He's dangerous. Such a cool guy, but dangerous.
Yeah.
And when you got a coach like Eugene Behrman behind you, look, enough is said about some of these top coaches that look after these fighters. When you got, you know, a coach like Eugene Behrman that goes out there, looks after both champions, make sure that they come back with their belts and has to corner both for them. That's incredible stuff. You know what I mean? And you know that should not be overlooked in any way, shape, or form. Let's move to the shall we say the new contender for the 185 belt. Alex Pereira.
What a
versus-
performance. That one was one of the most exciting for me because
Oh my God.
I think that's exactly what Izzy needs is someone that can give him that nervousness again, that excitement. And he really wants to finish Alex. He said so because he got finished by him. So he wants to shut people up because everyone's talking about this could be the guy to beat Izzy. And you know what? Sean Strickland, that's a big test. That was a big jump up in competition. Someone that could really take you to the ground if things
Sean
get
Strickland
bad.
was number 4. This guy
Yes,
ain't even got a
number
number next to his
4.
name.
So you can't say it's not fair that Alex gets to fight Izzy next because they fought twice already before, and so it's 2-0, just not in MMA.
Yeah.
So MMA, that's a whole different ball game, and Izzy is a different fighter now. So that fight right there with Sean Strickland, I mean, he put him away and he did it fast. You can't ask for a better performance than that one.
Bro, as we was watching the fight, I was so unhappy with what Sean Strickland was doing. I was saying to myself, like,
me too.
Bro, what are you doing? Why are you walking so why are you walking so close? Do you understand the idea of distance management with someone that's got reach and got one punch knockout power? Like, do you know what? It's almost. I almost felt like Strickland won. It was like a suicide mission for him. I felt like he wanted to get knocked the fuck out. I don't know.
It was such a strange thing. I feel like what was going through his mind is, I think people are going to be surprised if I finish the guy known for knocking people out. So I think there's maybe a problem with a little bit of overconfidence, maybe some nerves because this is the biggest fight he's had. And you're right, his game plan. I was like, brother, what are you doing? You're trading.
I was expecting takedowns, grappling, do something that this guy isn't comfortable doing. Striking with him, you're in his world. You can't stand there with your hands like that, walking him down.
He's the type of guy, if he touches you, you're going to sleep. Like, he just has that touch of death. And Alex, he was confident, he was calm, and I like seeing that because that's champion level mindset that lets me know he's not going to be affected by the big lights of a title fight next. But I feel like it also answered some questions about Sean Strickland because what would Izzy do to him if he couldn't manage that distance with Alex?
I mean, look, and this is the thing. Apart from, say, Alex and Jan in the UFC, and Alex hasn't done in the UFC yet, but Jan has. And a lot of these people, you know, they have a certain confidence about them. They have a certain confidence about them until they step in there with the guy. And when they step in there with the guy, then it's like, oh shit. Okay. What do I do now? I can't touch him. I can't get anywhere near him. He's stinging me with jabs. And every time he fucking kicks my head, he's out of the way.
and Uriel just commented, in all fairness, Strickland was seeing everything right up to the front, to the left from hell. And that's true in that Sean Strickland, he was able to avoid the big damage, and he was feeling himself. He got confident because he's like, okay, I'm standing here. But that's the problem, is all Alex had to do was wait until that one mistake, and then he shuts him down.
But did they walk into a trap? Was that what Alex wanted him to see?
Yes.
Did Alex wanted him to feel comfortable? Did Alex rock him to sleep?
I have a strong feeling that Alex is the type of fighter whose fight IQ is currently underrated. That maybe
so underrated.
Like, maybe he sees way more than the fans give him credit for, because he lulled him to sleep, like you were saying, and then he breaks your neck.
Yeah,
he's an assassin.
Just snapped his neck. We said it on Saturday just before the fight started that people that don't understand, and they're giving Strickland all the hype and everything else. I don't think he's credited enough how much work that Alex has done before coming to the UFC. People, you might not know this guy. This guy has been everywhere. You know,
he's hurt a lot of people.
He's hurt a lot of people, a lot of elite fighters coming up
top
to the
level.
UFC. You know, so please, like, this guy is to be taken seriously.
And I don't know if
He's
you noticed this
dangerous.
one, but when Sean Strickland, when the knockout blow happened, uh, Alex had planted his feet and he twisted his hip just slightly. It was the smallest feint I've seen in a while that I was able to pick up on. It's that Alex twisted his hip and then he threw that punch, and it was enough that Sean Strickland reached his hands down expecting a kick to come up and then left his face wide open. So that's how easy it was for him to
Yeah,
lull him to sleep and draw a big reaction out of a small feint, and that's exactly what
that's
Izzy's
all he
going
needed.
for.
Yeah, it's all he needed. And you know, and with Alex is a little bit different because there's not that much. There's tapes out there for him. Maybe there's not much tape out there for him to see all his best work. But with Izzy, there's a lot of 5 rounds, you know what I mean, that you could go to, from Gastelum to, you know, to the Yan fight, to, you know, Vettori fight, Bronson fight. You go and look at a lot of 5 rounds and see what Izzy does. You know, with certain different fighters with different looks, and you can take a lot from, you know, what Izzy has got out there. You don't have that with Pereira yet, and that's going to be a puzzle for some of these fighters that's fighting him now. But Izzy has all that information. He's been there with him.
He does
Twice. You know what I mean? He's the only one that's, you know, making a case for himself that, look, did you see the whole fight? You know, I had him on skates. So he still believes he can beat Alex. At this point in time, as we stand right now, gun to my head, who wins out of both of them? I might change my mind when the time comes closer. I'm gonna stick with my boy, Izzy. I know he's lost twice to him.
Yeah. If I had to pick,
my head, I'll take a bullet for him. Yeah.
If I had to pick right now, just off the top of my head, who I'd say is going to win this, I think that Isreal Adesanya is going to show that there's differences in the mental game, especially the games he's going to play with you, the feints he's going to throw. And you know, Izzy's not afraid to go for the takedowns and use his BJJ if it didn't go his way on the feet.
He's not been begging to submit people for a long time, and his corner hasn't allowed him. This might be the fight where we see it.
Part of me feels like it might be implemented into the game plan to start striking at first, but throw Alex off by making him tired a few rounds, really taking him to those deep waters with the wrestling, the BJJ, and then it's maybe he gets tired and gassed, and we know Izzy does not get tired.
That's the one thing we know he doesn't do. And hey, listen, we got a good example of this same. It's not the same situation, but two people that's met before that know each other's style and all of that. In Francis Ngannou and Cyril Gane, and Francis had to approach this fight in a whole different way than what people thought he was going to approach it, which is go to the grappling, take the man down, and do your work down there.
And he did it. He looked like a grappler.
Nobody was expecting that.
Francis with one leg looked like he had been grappling his whole life that night, and no one was expecting him to look that good in that facet of the game.
And don't nobody, hey, people, don't be surprised if you see Izzy shoot. I go for a double leg takedown or high crotch on Alex Pereira. Don't be surprised at all, because listen, you got to do what you got to do to retain your title, and if that's what he's got to do, you know, then fair play to him. I see a couple people in here. Big up to Diego C. Palace. Salute to you, Victorious.
Thank you, Diego.
Thank you very much for coming through, man. These are like our day ones right here, and they're here to support us. Right. So we go on to the next fight. This fight was a fight of the night. Fight of the night here. Barberena versus Robbie Lawler. Ruthless Robbie Lawler.
I think everyone expected this fight to be the fight of the night. Everyone knows how game these two guys are. They've been in the game for so long. They create so much damage, but they both walk forward and swing and bang. Sometimes it's good to see that old-fashioned, I'm going to walk forward and swing, and one of us is going to die tonight kind of fight.
And those two guys could not have put on a better show. Although I still think there was another fight on the card that we're gonna get to later on that I think I tweeted about it at the time, and I think they were a good candidate for fight of the night.
And I think
But
we're both in agreement on that one. We've talked about that a little bit.
yeah. So big fight, big night there for Brian Barberena, putting away Robbie Lawler. I mean, we know what Robbie Lawler is all about. We know how good he is, and we know that he doesn't come in there to play. He comes in there to take people's head off, and that was a fantastic turnout from Brian Barberena. We know what Brian Barberena does. Everybody knows he's coming to swing and bang, in pure Derek Lewis lingo right there.
Yeah, swing and bang.
I mean, that's what he's coming to do, and we love to see it. To me, that was a very, very entertaining fight. I love the fight.
Yeah, just pure violence.
I don't know who they give to him next, but I'm always happy to watch Brian Barberena fight. He's never in a boring fight, as far as I'm concerned.
No matter who he fights next, I think it's clear it's not going to be a boring fight whatsoever.
Yeah. I mean, those guys love to bleed. I never
they don't get started until they're bleeding.
Yeah, some people want to get out of the octagon and look like easy, like they ain't even been in a fight, and some people just like to get bloodied up. People like Jim Miller, we're going to talk about him in a minute, and people like Brian Barberena, like these guys, they just love that shit. It's what they live for, and
absolutely
salute to them. The opener of the main card, got the opener of the main card there. Sugar Sean O'Malley versus
Pedro
Munoz.
Yep.
Thank you. We got a no contest in this fight, and I was pretty cheesed off with it.
I like that term. That's a very UK term for my American brain, but I also was cheesed off by it. It was one of those fights that I was really excited for because Pedro can really bring it, and he's finished Cody Garbrandt. He's been in there with nothing but killers. So to see it go down like that with a no contest, that was just disappointing to me. But it interests me because it opens up an option for Sugar Sean O'Malley to maybe fight down in the rankings this one time and fight Adrian Yanez because he wants to put on a show. People were disappointed. They paid good money to see that, and unfortunately, no one can control a no contest. But it happened. But right now, Sugar Sean O'Malley needs a huge, exciting fight, and I think that the only person that I can think of that's not ranked above him that's going to bring the heat and not take a step back is Adrian Yanez.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, and this is something that you and I we've been campaigning for so long.
Give Yanez some sugar, right?
Give Yanez some sugar. If you don't know about that hashtag, learn that hashtag today. Give Yanez some sugar, and that's it's something we've been campaigning about for a minute, and hopefully UFC does something about this, because let's be honest, the UFC does listen to Yanez's fans. You know what I mean? We make a lot of noise, bro.
We've made a lot of noise 2 times now. We've got that man moved up to the main card.
UFC, they do listen to us, and John Anik actually he admitted to it as well, and he says, yeah, you know what, MMA Twitter and the fans that follows this fight, they do listen to them. UFC actually take note and listen to the fighters. So big up to the people that the powers that be that that moved Adrian up to the main card fight that we needed him to move, for them to move into. But we're talking about O'Malley here and Adrian Yanez, and I think, to me, stylistically, it's a fun fight for fans. You know what I mean? Maybe not for both of them, because both of them are headhunters. You know what I mean? They want to, maybe not for both of them, but for us,
that's a very fun fight for the fans.
It's a dream fight for the fans. We want to see it. We're clamoring for it, and I don't think a loss on both sides would lower the stocks. It only raise their stocks if if I'm being honest.
That's why I'm so heavy on this fight happening. Is I'm not just an Adrian Yanez fan. I am a Sean O'Malley fan. He's a like, if you're a fight fan, you're a Sean O'Malley fan.
Above all,
even if you don't like the personality or whatever, above all else, you're gonna be a fan of his game.
Yeah.
And those two, they're killers, and I refuse to believe that there's not going to be a finish in that fight.
Me too. I know somebody's going to sleep. I don't know who it is, but somebody's definitely getting it. Somebody's getting it. And the one thing that I like from our boy Adrian Yanez is his ability to always rip to the body. You know what
yes.
I mean? Baba, you know what I mean?
And he's relentless with it. The pace that he sets up.
His investment in body shots is ridiculous. People that don't know, please go and watch this brother fight. He can throw
one of the cleanest, fastest liver shots that come from nowhere that I've ever seen in my life.
It's crazy. But then Sean O'Malley's back spinning kick to the body.
And the way he's always able to manage distance himself, and he will have a reach and length advantage. So
to get that shot in,
and maybe that's all it takes. We know Yanez got a chin. You don't know what's going to happen, but those are the fights that excite me because, as we said, they're going to put on maybe fight of the year, for sure fight of the night, in my opinion. And whoever wins or loses, I think both guys will benefit from the fight because of how the fans are behind Adrian. You know, they really love that guy too. So it's just putting two popular guys in the cage and seeing who comes out. And I think both guys would come out winners in one way or another.
And this is a very good segue into what we got going on as a producer of the show, and a lot of the good interviews that we've been putting on the channel. This is the man behind the man. If you know what I mean, the man behind the scenes, the man that puts everything together. It does relentless work behind the scenes. You see him right here. Is the man putting everything together. Tell the people what you got for us tomorrow, and you know how everything is gonna pan out. Tell the people.
All right. Well, we have two huge pieces of news that I'm excited to share because you made it possible. Thank you for that kind introduction. So for the people who don't know me, you know, I'm Andy. And Ola's my guy. We've been friends for a long time now, but we knew we always had to work together like that. It just had to happen one day. And now we're coming up tomorrow. We have an exclusive interview with Adrian Yanez himself. And we're going to get to ask him all about this, what he feels, how he feels about Sugar Sean. And I think that's going to be an exciting interview, so you guys don't want to miss that because he's a humble guy, he's a kind person, and he's very smart. He has great takes, and he's an easy guy to talk to. He's a very kind person for someone that can kill you with their bare hands.
He's crazy, man. Absolutely crazy. But yeah, it's something that I'm really, really looking forward to. You know, Adrian has been a friend of the show for quite some time. With opportunities is basically what's been lacking for us to really get him on the show. But it's something to look forward to because a lot of the followers of this show will tell you how much Adrian gets mentioned on this show. You know,
and I would like to just give a quick shout out to the man himself, Adrian Yanez, because he's a very busy guy. So we're humbled that he's taken time out of his day and schedule to give us that interview.
Absolutely, 100%.
But with that being said, there is some news that takes us a bit to the next level, right? And it's that the great and powerful Black Scorpion, Ola, the man that runs this whole show, he now is a press member of the UFC. He got approved for the press pass, so we're going to be going to events. We're going to get this guy to UFC London and maybe to the France one with Gon and Tai Tuivasa. Yeah. But that's the biggest news we have to announce right now is that we got that press pass, so we're going to be at events, baby, and we're going to make all the content.
This is crazy. This is crazy. It's crazy news. We found that today, and all couldn't be. It couldn't be possible without your work, Andy. You know what I mean? Don't be so.
I appreciate you.
Gotta take some slice of credit here, and bro, to have the Fight Week show as an official media press personality at press conferences, and not just at press conferences. We're going to be at events as well, as you said. You know, we're going to be at the events, we're going to be at the press conferences, and we're going to have access to backstage to interview fighters, and we're going to, you know, that's only going to generate more content for the channel.
Yeah,
I know.
Very exciting stuff.
I always say, you know, I mean, we're a growing channel, and I always prefix that because we're growing, and that's all it is. We're growing by the day, and everybody that's with us from the beginning, you get to share all of this with us. You get to share it all with us, all our day ones. Thank you very much.
And I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, truly, that I know that you guys may not know me well, and I've probably been doing more work on the show than you guys are aware of right now.
Yeah.
But I'm absolutely honored to be a part of this, and I love that there's these loyal people that have just been friends to this show, and that's why we're doing this. We're going to get this next level content so that we just make better and better stuff going forward, and I'm so excited to be a part of it.
There you heard people. You heard it from the man himself, Andy, Front Kick Andy. You know, go follow him on Instagram at Front Kick Andy. Check him up on Twitter. It's not there right now, but he'll be back.
I'll be back, baby.
Andy. He'll be back at Front Kick Andy. Yeah, he's you know, he's my very, very good friend, and you know, he's been pulling a lot of strings in the background to make a lot of the good stuff that you've been seeing on the channel happen. There's a lot of teamwork going, and it's not just him. I think I mentioned it on the last show. I've mentioned it on our preview show. The people that are involved, it's not just Andy. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people. There's a lot of moving parts. You know, we've got CMO Connor. Connor's right here. Is very, very pivotal to what we do, and the end product of what you see on the screen is down to Connor, CMO. So please, please, please go and give him a follow. And if your channel needs a facelift or any kind of editing and that, Connor is the guy.
And shout out to Connor as well, because he has offered to help teach me editing so I can bring more to the table. So he's truly he's a good dude, and he offers nothing but the best kinds of help for the show.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got AC, we've got Leroy, we've got War Nunes, you know, we've got Misha. Yeah, I mean Frankie Baby, you know, we got all these guys. We got Will that, you know, does my previews with me on Friday nights. So there's a whole host of us that's banding together to try and take this channel forward. And you know, before I started this channel, I was working on the combat show with my late friend Chig that passed away last year. God rest his soul. He's gonna be looking down on us. He's gonna be looking down on us right now, man, and he's gotta be proud of what we've put together.
And I'm so honored to be able to be a part of moving the show forward in that way. And I know I didn't get to know him before we started our
really good dude,
our show, but I'm absolutely honored to now be a part of this and to be able to step in a place where he helped carry it this far, or else we wouldn't have a platform for me to be doing anything cool on.
Yeah. Absolutely. And yeah, thank you for all you've done. So that's all the news, people. That's the news right there. And you know, if anything else drops, you'll definitely be hearing from me. And sometimes when probably I can't make or get to the channel, Andy is a more familiar face that you're gonna be seeing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you'll see me around quite a bit.
You know what I mean? So get used to seeing Andy around. You know, he's part of the furniture, he's part of the house. You know what I mean? Yeah. We're going to be doing this thing together. Now, we have Brad Riddell versus Jalen Turner. This one here, I mean, I had Brad Riddell to win this fight.
I did not. I had Jalen Turner. That's my guy.
You did indeed. And Jalen, it didn't surprise me because I know what he's capable of. I just thought Brad will be a little bit more tougher and maybe use a little bit more fight IQ to try and get around.
It's definitely, it was his biggest test. Yeah, it was his biggest test for sure. Jalen wasn't going to have an easy night. I knew it wasn't going to be like he was going to get in there and knock him out in 10 seconds, because Brad Riddell is like, he's that guy. He's such a tough guy, and to see my guy, I'm a big fan. I'm a little biased when it comes to these guys, and I think that fight was one of the most exciting for me personally. The tarantula himself. I mean, that finish was beautiful.
That finish was incredible. I mean, to finish a fight in that manner. I think he obviously got he got performance of the night bonus.
Yeah.
For that finish there. The other guy that got he got fight, Baron Barberena and Robbie Lawler got fight of the night. And when you look at these guys and what they did, Jalen Turner is gonna be around for a minute. A lot of people,
yeah,
a lot of people are going to suffer. They're going to suffer some defeats from this guy. And I thought he when doing that well, in the 155. No, it was at 170 before he came down 155. So he went doing that well over there. He's come down, got a fresh coat of paint on him, and now it looks good. It looks longer than everybody. He's got that reach if he wants to keep you at bay.
And he's sick with his hands. He's so fast and precise.
He could knock people out. He could knock people out, and he could submit people. And that's one dangerous guy, man.
And I see him as being one of those next wave at 155 that are going to be the guys at the top in just a few years.
It's gonna be a problem. It's definitely gonna be a problem for the division. Okay, then we got Jim Miller versus Donald Cerrone. Jim Miller versus Donald Cerrone. Let's talk about Donald first.
Yeah.
Because of the gloves, right? He got subbed, and look, Donald Cerrone. I know your feeling towards him, and I understand it. I read it. I didn't even know that before.
Yeah.
But when I saw what you said, I thought, all right, okay. But let's put that to one side, right, and just look at
like we said, the separating the person from the fighter.
From the fighter, exactly, and just look at the profession and what he's given to fight fans over the course of his career.
So many fun fights and so many moments where he was in the
so many
state.
Highlight reels, bro.
Yeah, the KOs, the finishes, all of it was such an exciting career. So honestly, shout out to Cowboy Cerrone for like putting on all those wars for the fans that we were able to enjoy. And I know he didn't get the victory, but this is the right time for him to retire. And they made history. I mean, they were neck and neck for most wins and most finishes going into that fight. So,
I mean, that win there gave Jim Miller the most wins in the UFC. And if it's gone vice versa, it would have been the same for Cowboy having the most wins in the UFC. It's absolutely crazy to have that type of record next to your name.
It's absolutely insane the pure amount of fights he's been in. And I know, like, he's been through the biggest fights there can be. He's fought, the boogeyman El Kakui. He's fought at 170. He fought Connor just a few years back. And he's always putting on, like, exciting scraps. I did not expect it to be finished by a guillotine like that. I thought it would be more on the feet. And Jim Miller just jumped on that perfect submission, and that was slick.
Yeah, that's all she wrote. Because when Jim Miller gets you in those sort of situations, he's such a veteran. He knows his way around, the mat. And once he gets you there, man, it's only a matter of time.
And Cowboy and Jim Miller, for anyone that doesn't know, they did fight before, and Cowboy did get the finish. Yeah. So Jim Miller got a little bit of redemption there.
Yeah. And what a way to do it to get him to get the retirement from Cowboy. And you know what? I feel like he's going to be joining Khabib and DC and all these other guys in the Hall of Fame.
For sure.
When they're ready to do it, he's definitely going to be getting the Hall of Fame jacket.
He's been through too much to not get that.
Absolutely, I agree with you. I can't say enough good things about what he left for us as a fighter. As a person, maybe, he left a little to be desired, but hey, that's him and his prerogative. I'm a fight fan, and that's what I consume when I watch him on telly.
Yeah,
And
we're
for
not
what he's
interested
giving,
in what they've said before. We're interested in the performance that they're going to give us that night.
exactly. Right, let's move on to Ian, Gary, and Gabe, because this is one that a lot of people
Oh yeah,
didn't think Ian Gary could get past. They didn't think he could get past this test.
and for good reason, because that says a lot about Gabe Green and how fantastic he is as a martial artist. He's a tough guy.
Tough guy, and even Ian couldn't put him away, and you could see how hard. But the thing that I liked about the way Ian fought was the amount of combinations he was putting together, the amount of combinations he was able to put together, and when just putting them combinations together, it was super accurate with them as well.
Yeah, he only looked better because we got to see more of his game, and he showed that he has a lot to offer. He's so technical. He's a very skilled fighter, and we have to remember he's so young still.
Yeah,
he's in his early 20s, so he has years to grow and really start getting those finishes.
And yeah, they will come in time. Hopefully I wouldn't even say he's getting favorable matchups, but maybe one or two favorable matchups his way would do him a world of good to get his confidence even higher. For the long run, you start seeing the best of Ian Gary. A lot of people don't think he's that good on the microphone. I think he's still learning he's still learning the trade.
He's trying.
Not everyone can do a Connor on the mic. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can't just be Connor one day. Yeah. He's doing the best he can, but that's the things you improve with. The fight game, you get that down first, and then you get the entertainment side.
There you go. Absolutely. And the next one on the card is Brad Tavares versus Duplessis, Dricos Duplessis. This is another fight that I thought could have got
fight of the night.
Fight of the night. These guys went to war.
And you said it. It wasn't a fight. They went to war. They were bleeding. They were ready to die in there, and it was just a violent experience. It's like injecting violence right into your veins. It was a good fight.
Good fight from both guys. Duplessis definitely getting the win there. He did say he was looking for the finish, couldn't get the finish. Brad is tough. He is tough.
He is a tough guy, and he's a real legend and a veteran.
Yeah, he is so tough. He's been around for a minute as well. I remember he fought Easy on Easy's come up, as part of his come up, you know what I mean, before he got to the title. And even he couldn't put him away, So the guy is so tough. It's crazy. Next fight on, we got Andre Muniz versus Uriah Hall. What do you make of that fight, real quick?
That fight made me a tiny bit sad because I'm a big Uriah Hall fan. I enjoyed his viral knockout, the spinning wheel kick. But everyone that's a real fan of MMA
talking about that spinning wheel kick.
Yeah.
He absolutely hates it.
He doesn't like when people bring it up because that's like the one huge highlight.
Exactly.
But he's either on or off. Yeah, and he's been on or off so much that it's so hard to tell what version of him you're going to get that night. And it goes to show what a good ground game can do and how it can neutralize a good striker.
Yeah. And Muniz showed us that, and he's going to be a problem for 185, man. People better keep an eye on Andre Muniz, man. He is coming, and he's not joking, bro. He really isn't. Jessica Ai versus Macy Barber. Jessica Ai is another one that hung up the gloves, that retired on the night against Macy Barber. Give us your thoughts on that.
Well, she's had an incredible career. She has been around for a long time, fighting just the best competition you can fight in the UFC. And Macy Barber, she's also so skilled, and she really showed up. I mean, that's a testament to how good Macy Barber is, because that's not an easy thing to do to Jessica Ai. So I get why it's time for her to retire, but she's put on a great career, and that fight was a lot of fun to watch.
I like that fight. Basi Baba is definitely a fighter that I admire a lot, and I think she's gonna do good things in that division, the flyweight division.
She's so game, bro. She's always so game to just take the fight wherever it needs to go.
Yeah, and let's see what happens with her next. And the biggest upset of the night, because I did not see this coming, and this fight here cost me the first shot of the night. I could not believe it. Julia Storialenko versus Jessica Rose Clark.
I was on Jess's side. I support the Aussie fighters. I love Bam Bam Tai Tuivasa. You know, my brother Isreal, he's from Aussie, so that's just, I'm always supporting them. And I really thought she was going to get it done, but shout out to our friend AC, because he put in the research and he knew that she had some dangerous arm bars.
AC called it.
That and it got broken, I think, or at least it got messed up.
It got broken. I saw it dangling. The type of dangling that you saw with Paul Craig and Jamal Hill. Yeah, that type of dangling. That's what I saw.
And it was one of the smoothest transitions I have literally in any men or women. It was one of the smoothest BJJ transitions, where she got her down. She slid right past the guard. She flipped her hips around just to catch the balance, switch back. And then right then she just switched to the other side. She snatched that arm up, and the way she
just getting on the mount and then quickly sleeping into an armbar on the other side, it was a thing of beauty. And look, like Diego says here, Julia's performance kicked off a wonderful evening for all. Yeah, it definitely got me started drinking. You know, because
it ended up being a long night at the office, and it started with her. It ended
up being a long night for real, man. And look, it's crazy. It's crazy. And she got performance of the night as well. Performance of the night bonus. She got $50,000. Congratulations.
Rightfully so. She deserves that for sure.
Congratulations.
Incredible performance.
Fucking great. And I mean, look, we had a great night of fights, and we got, Rafael Fiziev and Rafael Dos Anjos coming through on the next fight night, and we're going to be previewing it right on Friday. So please come and join us. But in between that, during the week, we got some guests coming on. Adrian Yanez, like we said earlier on the show. So please keep your eyes peeled for that. Soon as our editor is finished with it, we're gonna bang it on the channel, and then we're going just all you gotta do, hit the notification bell so you know when the contents get dropped onto the channel.
Because you don't want to miss this one, because Adrian Yanez is that guy that's gonna be top 5 before we know it, and having him on the show now, and having to have that working relationship I've had where we got to do giveaways, that shows his heart. That shows he loves his fans. He loves giving back. So tune into that to make sure you also support Adrian Yanez and everything coming up with his life, because he gives back to his fans.
He does. He really, really does. Very, very generous with giveaways, with gifts, with memorabilia, stuff that he used in the octagon, all that sort of stuff. And if you're not following Adrian Yanez on Twitter and Instagram, I don't know what you're doing.
You're missing out. You're missing out hardcore if you're not following him.
Jump on your social media and go and follow that guy. Go and follow him. You know what I mean? And give him a follow, man. He's definitely a good guy. Good guy to follow. Salute to Carl Rossi. I see you in the house, my bro. So thank you to everyone that's joined us tonight. We've come to the end of the show. We are hour in. Usually this recaps on my own. I'll be in and out 20 minutes, but
I like to talk a lot.
We had to break a lot of this down, and probably you're going to be seeing more of these. You're going to be seeing more of these, down the line as the channel grows. You know what I mean? You're going to see more of these breakdowns, more of these recaps. You know what I mean? Even if I can't make it, Andrew is going to be here to give it to you. So, people, thank you very much for joining us. You guys have been superb. All the interactions we're seeing it.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. Thank you for everything.
And onto the next video. Hasta la vista. Salute.
Hey guys, this is John Anik from the UFC. You're watching The Fight